The public is here. But for this workshop, we're only going to have questions and input from our council members and city staff, department heads that are here. Okay, so I welcome you again. I'm going to ask Councilwoman Scott to give us our invocation for this morning, because we definitely need prayer. And I'm going to ask everyone to please stand and join us.
Let us pray, for this is the day the Lord hath made, and we must rejoice and be glad. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you, dear God, for this day. We thank you for your grace and your mercy, for letting us see another day. We pray to Heavenly Father, as we go into the city business, this business of this community, that you will give us an open mind, an open heart, and be able to, Lord, to not agree on everything, but come together with a solution. We pray to Heavenly Father, you will guide us, Lord, guide our town, guide us as we go through this day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I'd like to remind everyone, the restrooms are right across the hall here. We still have some donuts and snacks and juice and water for everyone in the hallway. So I appreciate everybody for coming again out here again today at the end of this month. I appreciate all the public for coming and as well. And today is a collection of what we discussed on March 1st and what we came through throughout this month as well. So I am going to turn it over now to our Finance Director, Mr. Brandon Carter.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hope everyone have a fantastic morning. Oh, thank you. Ain't nobody call me anyway. All right. As Mayor Robinson said, this is going to be short and sweet, to the point. If you have any questions, please feel free. Just kind of FYI, I'll be unavailable all of next week because I got tested next week. So if I don't respond, be unavailable, I will follow up with you the week after next week. All right. So starting off, we jumping right to it. Last budget workshop, we discussed employee raises. I would like to stand corrected. I was accosted by department heads as well as fellow staff members in regards to employee raises. So to reiterate, there will be employee raises. I met with each of the department head, and they lamented to me how we're going to utilize and facilitate these employee raises. First and foremost, public safety. I met with the police chief as well as the fire chief. Their employee raise is going to be based upon performance-based evaluation. So they're going to meet with their command staff. They're going to start evaluating the officers, the firefighters, what have you, and they're going to give them the pertinent raises that are proposed to their raise. Retention issues. We're losing workers left and right. Ricky, I think we lost about 5, maybe 6 employees of line maintenance and public works. Met with Ricky, and he is planning on giving them raises because we have retention issues. So we're giving them more incentive to stay. I think, Ricky, you correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to like Myrtle Beach, Conway, Charleston, what have you. So I met with Ricky, and he is planning, the budget is already implemented, the raises is already implemented, so if y'all have any additional questions on how he came up with those raises, please get with Ricky. 10-year employees, met with Mayor Robinson and Mayor Pro Tem Cooper. They have ideas of rewarding senior and seasoned employees. The raises that will be implemented in the next fiscal year have been budgeted. And if y'all have any additional questions, please get with Mayor and myself. Hot and pressing, what's coming up? Establishing cash flow. As y'all, each and every one of you know, we're going to have a new interim city manager pretty soon. Once this person comes, I'll be working closely with this individual, and I'm going to lament to them the crux of the issue, because the crux of the issue is expenses. Expenses is inevitable. You're going, I mean, if you own a house, as each and one of you know, 1 minute the garage door is not opening, and next minute you go, your bathroom sink is not working. It's inevitable. So the crux of the issue is not expenses, it's cash flow. So I will be working closely with this individual to get this city over the hump. Preparation for the forensic audit. I wanted to lament to the city council that this proposed budget is 95% complete, but I might make certain adjustments because we are getting bids for the forensic audit. So far, we have 5 in total. As promised, I am compiling together all the information to a spreadsheet, and I'm going to present that to Mayor Robinson, and she's going to present that to City Council. Y'all can discuss where y'all want to go, who you want to choose, and then we can go from there. Focus on recreation at LSU 278. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm losing money on this building. So I got with Mayor Robinson, I got with Ms. Cynthia, I got with Ms. Izzard. Starting the next fiscal year, I'm giving the reins to them as far as putting them over this building. We need the cash flow. I mean, it's still going to be a community center, but I'm planning on focusing more on recreation. So I'm going to come to you as City Council so y'all can start giving me more ideas to what y'all want to do, because I'm be honest with you, we losing money left and right over this building. It wasn't necessarily prepared correctly, and I'll leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. Selling property and inventory. As y'all know, we definitely need a revenue. I'm planning on selling 106. If you're not familiar, that's Donna Tracy's old office. I'm planning on selling that maybe to the Greater Sea Alliance or whoever else, because the Greater Sea Alliance is to the left, if I stand correctly. I'm planning on, only if they're interested. I'm gonna gut that out because we already paid for that furniture. Everything in there is brand new, and I don't want to, sell it to them because we already paid for it. It's already paid in full. So I'm going to take that furniture out, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that furniture just yet, but I am going to get that so far.
Who's occupying it now?
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I'm deaf.
106.
Donna Tracy. She's our PIO officer.
Myself, Jonathan, Aaron, and Grayson.
Yeah.
Where we live now.
By the way, please, stop me and ask questions and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, so So Donna Tracy and we gonna move her into the admin building until further notice, until we decide what we're gonna do. Assurance, just like we mentioned in the last budget workshop, we still with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We just moving policies. We just switching to new policies. We're trying to save some money there, and then also. Establishing partnerships and sponsorships. That I put crucial because I want to reiterate, we do not have it. We cannot do it by ourselves. So when we start doing these events, we start doing these celebrations, we're going to partner with our neighbors, Black Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce, Greater Sea Alliance, what have you, and then we're going to go from there. Are there any questions? Any questions? All right. So this is from the last budget workshop. It's pretty much the same. Any questions?
Can I just go ahead and add this in?
Yes.
As a question? How many accounts do we currently have right now?
As far as what?
I know we were saying that it was 17 accounts.
17 bank accounts, correct.
Yes. So how many do we have now?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Now, as far as operating, we'd have one. That's our main crux operating account. But those 17 bank accounts are miscellaneous accounts like hospitality tax, money marketing, reserve, what have you, because you don't want to mix up those funds, if that makes sense.
I understand that. For future planning, can we get a spreadsheet of those accounts too with how many funds?
Like the transaction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not more so transaction, just like how you did like the city taxes, state taxes. So for like if you have a hospitality tax account and what going forward, like just put, hey, how much money is in this one?
Oh, okay, I'm following you. Okay. I got you. Okay, yeah.
So our main banker is,
First Citizens, that's our main bank. We also with South State, but we just use credit cards with them. Regions holds our bonds and our trust, but our main bank account is First Citizens. Any more questions?
South State, okay.
South State, we don't do any, we don't hold any money in, we just use credit cards, correct. So, we'll discuss that further in detail.
Okay.
the first citizen to pay the credit card bill.
Correct. Any more questions?
Let me ask you,
Yes.
how many credit cards do we have?
So far, only the department heads have credit cards because after the administrator left, I took everyone credit card. So far, we have about 10 credit cards that's currently being utilized, 11?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, are they all from the same bank or company?
No, we got two separate banks and two separate credit cards. So the only ones who have credit cards are the department heads. So like myself, Chief Miles, Mayor Robinson, Ricky Sims, the department heads.
Okay, so we're keeping, checking, balancing on that.
Correct. Now, I don't want to tell you the untruth. Those credit cards are still active, but I currently have the credit cards on file until we decide what to do. I don't want to put it out there that I cut those credit cards and yada, yada, yada. I still have those credit cards. They're still open, they're still active, but I have it in my drawer until I decide what we're gonna do with those credit cards.
In your drawer?
In my, well, not in my
In
drawer,
the
but
vault.
in the vault. I'm sorry. Cynthia.
I just want to go back and add when you talk about partnerships.
Yes.
That recreation has to partner, the city has to partner with the Florence School District 3. Because I use them for facilities for football and for basketball, which is two of our recreation programs. And I could not offer the basketball without using the school's gymnasium. And I do have to pay for usage of it. And I have to keep up with all of the income. If I have ball games and we charge a little admission or something, all that has to be turned in and reported. As far as football, I use their football stadium because as of right now, we do not have a playable football field so that we can have our games there. So we're using the stadium. So that's another partnership there. And I'm going to say that Dr. Hickson, I hate to see her go because she has been a precious jewel in cooperating with us, with letting us use those facilities. And the rates have not increased over the past 10 years almost. So it's really been great having her on board and working with her.
And we need more things like that. Like, I'm just being honest with you. We're gonna start facilitating more. I know people keep hounding me about selling this building. I can't go that avenue. I'm sorry. You know, we done invested too much in this, too much money, too much blood, sweat, and tears into this building. So Ms. Izzard and Cynthia will be taking the reins starting next fiscal year over this building, and we're gonna do it communities. We're gonna do movie night. We're gonna do summer programs, spring programs, fall programs. I'm getting with city council, and they can facilitate more ideas of what you wanna do. So, and I'm using, for example, car shows, art shows, whatever case may be, to facilitate more revenue in this building. Donna Tracy.
I'm sorry, and whenever you have a statement or comment, can you please have the mic so everyone can hear? Thank you.
We also have plans to use the facility for things like community classes that the city will be hosting.
Correct. So one thing I really want is do etiquette class. So, you know, one thing, you know, we want to teach, you know, young men how to tie a tie, how to say appropriate, how to open a door for a lady and whatnot. So that's one thing we're gonna do as far as generating revenue and utilizing this building more, if that makes sense. Savon.
With all the different types of events that you're going to be hosting here, how are you going to determine the price costs for each of these communities to facilitate the building? And are you actually charging them, or are they just going to be able to use it at no cost? Just curiosity.
We're going to charge, and the prices has to go to mayor and council. It's just going to be just like how we did when we first opened up the building. Because I can't do anything without mayor council approval. So I can't just charge them something that I want to charge. It has to go to mayor council. So it's something that we gonna have to discuss in-house. Okay.
Ms. Crosby.
Since you're here, is it possible to give a kind of an overview
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ann Nelson, and I'm actually the overseer of this building. This is a great building. It has some great ideas. So far, we've been actually had various functions here, such as birthday parties, whether they're 80 to 1 years old. As recent, we have the Zeta here today. So we have various functions here, as well as committee symposiums, various. It's multicultural. It is so various things that you can actually have here, which is a great idea in terms, I thought of that too, etiquette class, and we even have people that are inquiring about having banquets, et cetera. So the various prices is based on the size and the occupancy of the room. We have basically our main room, which is the Sapphire Ballroom, then there's the Larma room, and we have 3 rooms over here. I think some of you all have been in those rooms. However, based on those sizes, so far, I'm glad you asked, because I have here the prices for a quarterly report that from September to December, because the building has been prolonged based on renovation. So going into the winter months, it kind of delayed. People actually want to renovate, and it was kind of late. So far, let me see here. I have an estimate. I had actually put up a spreadsheet, which is the revenue report. From September, from about top of my head, from September to December, we actually brought in revenue about $7,000. From January to currently, we brought in maybe about $8,000, totaling about over $15,000. And so for a facility here to be here for 6 months and starting off slow, that's good money. So there's some great cash flow. So just imagine, we even got dates all the way up to 2026. Mr. Savon had actually spoken to a young lady that wants to take it for 2 days, right? For an event for September 2026. And then we have various different requests that people are calling in, just as recent as yesterday. I have people that are coming in on Monday. So I have a calendar, actually a list of people that are pending, have already either, and that's money, the $15,000 is only deposits. They pay 50% deposit when they want to actually reserve the room. So suppose their room is $1,000. 50% before they can actually and fill out the application, and also they have to put down 50%. And then the other remaining 50% is actually has to be turned in by 30 days before the actual event. So that money of $15,000 is either events that already happened from September to December to January, to those who have not paid their 30%, that 50%. So that's money that's pending that we don't have. So imagine in another year from now that people are paying their money for these rooms, reserving, not including the one that Mr. Brandon was talking about. So this is what currently that we actually have people that are reserved already. So we have in the book so far over $15,000, and most of them are basically 50% down payment. Any questions?
In the case if someone pays the 50% deposit and change their mind, is there a refund policy?
Yes, we have an application. Yes, I'm so sorry. We have an application in our application/terms. It says if they waited 30 days prior, they receive 50%. Less than 30 days, they don't receive anything. So it's in the contract.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, on the average,
Can you grab the mic, please?
on the average,
We have a question
once a
back
month,
there.
how many people you have come rent the building in a month?
I wish I had brought that in there. Let me check to make sure if I overlooked it, because it could have fell out. I have a list of every person that I came in contact with from the beginning of this building. So when I started in January of last year, every person I spoke to, it's probably like a 10-pager. And once Mr. Brandon gets up, I can just very quickly show you. So in 1 month, I would say about 30, 40 people, if not more, because we have walk-ins, we have people that call, we have mostly people who do call, they call in and want to see a tour. And the reason why I require people to take a tour is because a lot of time people will ask for prices, they don't know what they're getting. And they'll say, they'll hear the price, and what they'll say, oh, that's too much. So I require them to come in and see the tour, and guess what happens? They change their mind and they book. Because presentation, when you see something, it's always a good thing when people see something rather than, and they're thinking the price is, well, I'm not sure, because commonly people are used to the typical rec. Not saying, I mean, they can be rented as well, but what it is that our presentation, once you walk into the president of this, I mean, y'all can agree or disagree, the presentation, the tour, all of that plays a part in it, so you get the whole package. So my feel of all this is giving people what they think they would not get. You see what I'm saying? So what that means is that when they get a tour, you share with them what they're gonna get, and all of that explained to them. 9 times out of 10, I'll say 10 times out of 10, they're already sold. Because it's a nice feeling, like if you go to an apartment or whatever, or a house or whatever, the way the person presents whatever they sell, even the carsman. If you went on the lot and just bought a car, right, you're probably not gonna sell it. But they start saying it comes with this, it comes with that, and look at, feel this here, what have you. What happened, they become more interested, and more likely they will buy. So the same thing here.
We have a question back here.
This is more directed towards Brandon, but just for everybody's information here, could you explain in detail where we stand on the financing of this building, how much it costs us to maintain this building on a monthly basis, and compare that to the revenue we bring in to see if we're coming out, either in the red or in the green on a monthly basis?
Right now, we're in the red.
That's the question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, right now, we're $75,000 in the hole. Right now, in totality. Because, so Annie is right, that we got about $14,000-15,000. But no, it was, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't prepared in the right way.
Where are we in the hole at? Is we in the hole by light bill?
Light
Is we
bill,
in-
power bills, like, okay, and I'm not trying to get technical, but when you going,
Break it down.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when I was going for my MBA, all right, you had to start up a small business. The one thing you learn, especially in graduate school, is when you take a small business, you got to do a SWOT analysis. You got to compare it to the local businesses. You got to benchmark it. So when the previous administrator was looking at the plans, he should have benchmarked the neighboring businesses and say, hey, yo, I can't compete with that. So other avenues should have been partaken into that.
So it should have stayed to what it was
It
projected
should
to
have
be.
stayed, yes, so that's why I met with Miss Cynthia, and she told me that were ideas that she had prior to him. I'm like, we should have went with that, that makes more sense. So that's why, to your point, see, this has its own fund, it has its own bank account. This money should be generated and paying for her and everyone else's salary, but it's not. So when you're gonna see further on as far as administration, I had to move her and expense her on administration because this building, her being here is putting a strain on this building because it's not operating. So that, to your questions, we're about roughly around $75,000 overspent.
And when the first thing I asked regarding the financing of the building, from what you've told me, this building is completely paid for, in itself, but on the monthly operating cost, that's where it's hitting us. Is that correct?
Yes. Internet, power bill, light bill,
So,
us breathing, everything.
so, with it, because we had got grants for this building, correct?
Correct. Well, yes.
We got funding for this building.
I'm trying, we did get funding.
We did get funding for this
They went to
building.
DC, they championed for this building, and they came back and we got rewarded for, I think, was it 13
Well,
million?
no.
This
Fire
building
department?
was
This building.
Penny sales
For
tax.
penny sales, that's right, yeah. This-
Yes,
before the DC trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's way before that.
Okay.
Yes.
That predates me, yeah, that predates
Yeah.
me.
2 or 3 years before.
yeah,
Yeah,
this,
that predates me.
this building was from the penny sales tax, the renovations and everything from the penny sales tax that we received from
Okay.
county. The more the funding that we wanted, that we were projecting to get was for the multi-purpose facility that we had plans for to go on the other side of this building, which per se, we were saying gym. But in the beginning, we were stated that we needed to change that verbiage from gym to multi-purpose facility, but we're still gonna utilize it as gym and recreation.
Right.
But when we went to our congressional representatives to advocate for it, which they were all for it, they supported it, but unfortunately, at this moment right now, the funds that we were going to get and stated to get in a letter, those funds are at a freeze. And it's going to be very unlikely we're going to get those funds. And that is because of the presidential administration change. So it's like at a point we're going to probably have to start over. Now, that's just out of our hands at the moment. For the multi-purpose facility part. For this facility part, I think the expected revenue for it was projected very high. And at this moment, or at this time, after a few months of being open, we're not at that point. But we're trying to make the best possible adjustments to make that happen for the community to still have this community center.
So, what Miss Annie's doing is renting the building out. Then we're gonna take and let Miss Cynthia and Miss Izar come take over the building. They gonna be renting it out as well.
Yeah, it's.
So where will you be still in the hole? Because either or you gonna be in the hole if you still have the building. If
Right.
she's getting $15,000 and she's written it out on a consecutive basis, and Miss Cynthia then might be written it out on a consecutive basis, probably it'll be the same thing. It'll be the same thing.
You are
So,
1,000% right.
You got me,
To Mayor Robinson's
Where-
point, we have to start over.
so where are you starting over at?
That's a conversation, and that's why I lamented, we have to come together as a collective team and talk each other over. That's why we starting over with a new chain of command.
Brandon,
Yes.
last year, it was passed for the $200,000. Is that putting us in the hole as well?
Oh, yeah, that money's already gone.
That was allocated for certain, I think, I can't
Yeah.
state right now what it all was
Yeah.
allocated for, but we did have the,
Yeah.
we do have the list, because the list was provided to council
Yeah.
at that meeting to see what that money was allocated for before we voted on it.
Because that was from my LGIP account, if I'm not mistaken.
So hindsight looking in, just suggesting,
Yeah.
what if you was to sell the building?
I mean, if y'all want to sell the building, that's fine. And this is just my suggestion. If the consensus say, hey, sell it, I'll sell it. I'm just trying to save this building because we already invested so much into this building. But, if y'all want to sell it, we can. I mean, it's, at the end of the day,
Because
the
how I'm
ball's
looking
in
at
your
it,
court.
how I'm looking at it is, if we still renting the building one way, why we gonna say we're gonna start over and do it another way?
Well, it's gonna be a combination of things. It's not just gonna be just for renting, like for Miss Cynthia's moving idea. We'll sell popcorn, not popcorn, we do movie night, we do senior citizen night. We're gonna do all types of events. It's gonna be just like what it should have done.
That's where I was going.
Yeah,
Not saying anything bad with that, but that's the
Right.
road I was leading down.
right.
Because if we gonna let the recreation department come, at the end of the day, it's gonna be for the community.
Yes.
Movie nights,
Yeah.
and then we gonna be coming out of the pocket then, buying the popcorn, buying the drinks, and serving it. You get what I'm saying? When Miss, listen to that. Yeah, and just like with Miss Annie here, she'll be renting the building. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And you can still use it as the same thing. If Miss Cynthia and them want to come in and still do the same thing, other than saying,
Now, for the record, if y'all
You
want
know.
me to, if the consensus saying sell it, we'll sell it. Just let.
I mean,
Mayor
I'm just
Robinson
throwing
know
that
what
out
we'll
there. I
do.
mean,
Yeah.
just-
I don't think that's
If
a
we
decision
in-
you can just pop off and say
Yeah, just,
If we in
Well,
the red,
I'm
if
saying
we in
the
the red
consensus.
and it's hurting us,
It has to be through the.
Excuse
it
me.
has to be through the council, yeah, I'm
And-
saying it's a
and it's
consensus as
hurting
far
us.
as vote, yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
No,
And
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
and it's hurting us,
Yeah.
you know.
It's going, you know, we have to crawl before we walk, but
Yeah.
unfortunately.
That's
we
what
put-
I'm saying.
we
It's a
put
new
the
building,
cart
so
before the horse.
you gotta crawl before you walk.
Yeah,
So we can't just say we in the red and it ain't gonna work. You get what I'm saying?
right.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
I'm sorry, we have a question back here.
It's not necessarily a question, but just to clarify here, the purpose of the building, which is not being explained correctly, is the whole purpose of it is to give the community an opportunity to have their own events so that they don't have to go through the Greater Alliance, because at the end of the day, the Greater Alliance and the Chamber, their facilities are booked either because of art fields or any other event. On top of that, the prices that they charge is a little more higher than what we charge, and we facilitate more things that makes us more the better choice in terms of hosting their events. So the building itself is used more than just community events. It is a facility for the city as a whole to host their events in the event the other buildings are not available. For example, art fields. Art fields happen, all the buildings are pretty much taking up for months because of them setting up for art fields. So this facility is another choice in which our prices are more competitive to where we would bring in that income versus what art fields does. So that's kind of where the explanation is not being properly explained, no offense, but that is the whole point in getting the word out and letting people know. As Ms. Annie stated, that more people are finding out about this building and more people are reserving the building. And of course, once you guys decide on a final price for the building, because each room is priced differently, which I feel as though maybe that should change down the road, but that's neither here nor there. But I digress. The whole building itself, in time, will be able to sustain itself once the community understands what this building is and what it's for and how it can benefit the city as a whole. Thank
If
you.
it was properly planned, then that should already been down the road.
Okay,
So
go ahead, Councilwoman.
So if-
It's about advertising.
It's about advertising. So when the idea came to fruition, a plan should already been put in place, but everything was shoot from the hip from the start.
Okay, I'm going to, if everyone don't mind, because we got to move on, I'm going to have the last statement on this about this building. If there's any other questions, please come see myself and Mr. Carter about any finances, because we really got to move on, because we have a whole lot more. But just want to say what Mr. Savon was saying. I don't want anyone to think that this is a competitive or competition. Because we're all in the city of Lake City and we have the same shared visions and goals for the city of Lake City and our community. We're not in competition with the Greater Lake City Alliance, with the Dollamore Foundation, with the Chamber, or anyone. We're in collaboration more than competition. This is just another option for us to have for our community. But we are not in competition.
Yeah.
We are in collaboration.
Thank you for that, Mayor. And that's why I put partnership and sponsorships. Yeah, we had to develop the partnership and sponsorship, so I appreciate you, Mayor Robinson. I forgot where I left off. So this is going to be our total general fund revenue. Our last budget workshop, we discussed about $10.4 million for 25-26. I'm projecting now with the help of Florence County as well as other beneficent mindsets as Charlie Barron, I'm looking at $10.9 million revenue. This is our head count. So this is, I eradicated the ghost positions as promised. I did a comparison between 24-25 and 25-26. Currently, we have 120 employees as of right now. This is everybody with flesh, bone, and skin. Any questions?
how many people y'all have in, I see y'all got 9 people for,
Where you at, bro?
finance and human resource.
Where you at, bro? Finance is 6.
That was
Oh,
last year.
that was last year.
That was
Okay.
last year.
That's last year. You still got 6.
6, so it's me, LaQuantia, Lisa Jones, Brittany Webb, Rebecca Strange, and Amanda Turner. That's 6. So Brittany is Human Resources, Lisa Jones and LaQuantia Grants, Rebecca, myself, and Amanda Turner are Finance.
So you got an assistant that help you, or
No, I do not have an assistant.
she just deal with finance? What she do with finance?
Which one you talking
You
about?
say you and
Amanda or Rebecca?
Amanda Turner, she cut our checks. She's our AP clerk. Rebecca, she does the book reconciliation. Lisa Jones is our grant writer. Quantia is our grant accountant. Brittany Webb is our payroll clerk. HR.
Okay. Ms. Hauser don't work there no more?
No, she's retired. She retired. She retired in February?
The first of February, February 6th, 7th.
Okay. Y'all ain't did no retirement party?
We did.
We recognize her.
We were not invited.
No, we recognize her at the Christmas gathering, or the holiday gathering for all.
We were council members were invited.
Yeah. Any questions?
Administration.
Yes. So administration, that is Annie Nelson, Luke Garbo, Mary Edie, and Latoya Miller. That's 4.
The
IT department, that's going to be Chris, Joe, Aaron, Jonathan.
Let me ask you, with the IT department.
Yes.
Since Solid closed down, and 2 people were hired from Solid, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
What is the saving?
Saving
Let's say monthly or annually.
annual or monthly?
Well, give it monthly.
Well, monthly we save roughly. Do you remember that? That was roughly around 30.
Overall of what we're saving from going from Sullivan to.
Overall was $50,000. Overall was $50,000. I would have to do it by monthly.
For
I'm
a
sorry.
breakdown, he can give you a
I can
breakdown
give you a
later, but
breakdown.
overall,
Yeah,
he can give you.
overall, yeah, because we was on the contract and they were charging us with different various services and, I'm sorry? A month, a month.
So we're saving
We
$50,000
saving.
a month.
Yeah, because they was doing expenses, service, because you have to realize, it's just, we was contracting out, so they was charging us to breathe. All right, and I'm talking about software, firewall, I wish, is Joel here today?
Joel is not here.
Okay, Donna.
$50,000 a month, okay.
For example,
A month.
today's meeting is on a weekend. We would have got charged extra for the setup of everything for this meeting. We would have got charged extra. Now, because it's in-house, it's part of the salaried positions. There's no extra expense.
So that 50,000 is included in that
That's everything.
overall, okay?
That's overall.
Could that be a 2-person team, or it got to be a 4-person?
That's 2.
But I thought the contract with Solvent was $500,000 for 5 years.
$500,000.
Solvent contract, what was the Solvent contract?
It was $16,000. Ooh, I'm drawing a blank. It's not coming to me.
Don't try to guess.
Yeah,
Just go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
We can provide that
I
information.
could forward you those via email. Matter of fact, I would forward you the very same contract that the former administrator and the president had. The actual contract.
Okay.
Because it's not coming to me. It's not coming to
If
me.
you get hard copies of that contract.
You want actual hard copies?
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
I can't see, we see stuff on the phone.
Okay.
My eyes are young. I can't
Okay.
see that stuff.
All right, any questions?
I would say, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm skipping. So this is the insurance. Just like we reiterated, we still with Blue Cross Blue Shields, we still with Mutual of Omaha, American Public Life, Aflac. Nothing has changed. All we're doing is switching to a new policy. Any questions?
So why are we switching it from, does the monetary change?
Because they, was it $790 a month or $800 a month?
I think it was 800.
It was $800 a month. That's why we had to switch policies.
So.
Not necessarily switching policy, they're putting us in a bigger pool.
Yes, well,
And
Technically, I'll be a
and
new
it's
policy.
saving us better,
Yeah.
but it's not, yeah.
Because we was, they was charging us as single, so we moved into a bigger pool.
Okay, so how much are we saving?
It was $800 a head. I mean,
So just give it a dollar figure, 800 times what?
800 for 120 employees?
120, don't worry about it, we can do that.
9,000.
Yeah, no, it'd be more than that.
Brandon, can you go back to the last slide?
The last slide?
9,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually hit the button.
So it was 800 a head, right?
It was about $790, $800 a head.
And now it's 710 a head?
It's $710 a head.
Okay, so I mean, just get the difference and per 120 employees. You got a calculator, Brandon?
Not in my head. Not in my head. I'm sorry. For the record, my brain. I got 4 exams next week. My brain's on school right now, so I'm kind of spaz right now. All right. So once again, no water increase. I'm not increasing fees. No sewer increase. I'm not increasing sewer increase. Now, tax increase. I won't lie to you. We are in a hole. We in financial constraints. I've had a meeting with our financial advisors, and just like I reiterate, the core of the issue is not expenditures, it's cash flow. Yes, Luke.
Was that slide about the insurance monthly?
Yes, that was
710?
monthly.
Okay, so when it was 800, it was per 120 employees, it was $96,000 a month. When it drops down to 710, it's $85,200 a month. So the total savings per month is $10,800. So you multiply that by 12, you're well over 6 figures.
I appreciate that, Luke.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke.
Hey, teamwork, Mr. Dreamwork, right?
That's right.
All right. Now, tax increase. The reason why I picked, I know I promised last budget workshop there'd be no tax increase. For the record, this is not going to be on me. This is going to be on the city administrator. All right. I'm going to get with him as soon as y'all hire him and tell him and lament to them, hey, we in the final dire constraints. We're hurting with money. There's a good chance, just being honest, we may have to issue out another. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
You finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, quick question.
Yes.
With the tax increase, where
Yes.
are we now? Okay, last council meeting, we're still in the deficit, right?
We're still in the deficit. I'm talking about as far as the millers. We're about 215.50 as far
Okay,
as tax
so
increase.
with the monies that are coming in from taxes from last year,
Right.
where are we at now?
We're still about 2 million.
And so there's nothing else coming in?
There's nothing else. See, I just like I
That's what I
reiterate,
wanna know.
this municipality, the bulk of our revenue is taxes. All right, a municipality based on taxes is equivalent to a senior citizen living off the Social Security check. And every senior citizen who's withdrawing Social Security will tell you, yes, your Social Security check is supposed to supplement your revenue, not take the place of. All right, so matter of fact, Luke Garbo made a comment last budget workshop that municipalities invest millions in their CIP plan. That is true. That is a true statement. All right.
So what does CIP stand for?
Capital improvement plan. I apologize. If I use esoteric language, please stop me. All right, CIP is a.
Define
Yeah, what's that? Yeah, so, and that's a true statement. But see, when it comes to becoming a self-sufficient city, all right, a self-sufficient city is able to allocate those taxes and invest it into a CIP plan. All right, they're not going to put the city at risk. All right, does that make sense?
Okay, so basically, if the taxes end up being increased, this will help our city with the CIP.
No. This is going to approve our bond that we're going to need. Yeah.
We really need a bond, you said?
Okay.
I ain't put it right.
Okay. I'm gonna break this down. All right. I'm gonna break this down. I'm sorry. My brain is. Your mission statement. Every company on the face of God Green Earth has a mission statement. Now, you may say, well, you know, as a customer, that mission statement is for us, the consumer, to give us an idea to why that organization exists, right? That mission statement is not solely for the consumer. That mission statement is also for your finance team. That mission statement gives us the tools and the instruments to measure the financial metrics and the health of that said organization, okay? Efficiency and effectiveness, I want you to remember those two words. Efficiency and effectiveness is a measurement of degree to where an organization accomplishes their primary goals while utilizing the minimum of resources necessary. That is self-sufficiency. All right. So if Luke Garble, my brother, said, hey, I need a $100,000 check, I'm able to cut him that $100 check while not risking the city. Does that make sense? So the previous, no, I stand corrected. But does that make sense? All right. So to answer your question, I'm going to have to work closely with the city administrator to kind of give him, I mean, I'm going to bring donuts, coffee, we're going to lock that door, I'm going to train him to the best of my ability. I'm like, hey, I'm going to show him our financial statements, our actuals, our priors, everything from A to Z, and we're going to work this thing out. So that's why I mentioned the tax increase. This is solely to get approved for our bond because we need some breathing room. Oh, you go catch me on Main Street panhandling. All right, does that answer your questions? All right. The capital request. Okay, this is the same thing as the last budget workshop. Okay, nothing's changed. Once again, I put a cap on that capital request. Once again, we just focus on the public works and recreation. Travel chaining, once again, I'm a hammer down on travel chaining. We're just going to do a mandatory, applicable jobs, betterment team, cut and per diem, charge costs, and reimbursements. We had this conversation last budget workshop.
And that's already in place.
That's already in place. This is our depth. This is everything that we are currently in depth in, and we made our last purchase. So this is one of the reasons why we're going to have to go into take at least out another bond because we just made that $237,000 payment, and I'm just being honest, that hurt us. That really did.
You think once you be able to sit down with whoever coming in before we go out there and get a bond, we could probably try to figure some other way?
Oh yeah, my bond is the last resort, but I think that's more of a conversation we need to have in-house, if I'm being honest. Okay. We need to have that. Yeah.
Thank you for transparency.
Yeah, but that's something, and that's my job. But that's my job as the finance director.
Increase the taxes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is going to be a conversation we need to have in-house. Yeah. Any more questions? Cash flows. So once again, I'm going to get with this interim city manager. He will get in touch with your mayor and city council, and I'm going to be real. I'm going to show him the actuals, the statements, everything that I am worried about, everything that I lose sleep over. But that is your core issue. I mean, I'm just being honest. You can sell this building and cut 50 people. The crux of your issue is cash flow, because you are living off taxes. And once we get into the dry season, which is midsummer, we're going to be in trouble. Utility service. This is water. I went up on the water fee a little bit, not the water bill, but I'm getting with Luke Garbo. I gave him he gave me some ideas, sorry about that, Luke, about what we should do as far as annexing more property, and that's what I'm planning on doing sometime in the future. I get with our new interim city manager, and we'll formulate a plan as far as annexation. Because I feel like, to your point, Councilman Brown, we need to do other avenues before we start leasing out another bond. For the record, I do not want to do that, but if push comes to shove, we got to pay our employees. Same thing with sewer. Once again, I went up on the sewer a little bit. Once again, not the bill. I don't want to put it out there, but this is through annexation. This is what I'm projecting. And this is our total revenue as far as, I went down a little bit because we was projecting too high. So we're looking at about 2.2. This is a more conservative, more realistic projection. Same thing with sewer. So we're looking at about a $3.7 million worth of revenue with 467,000 variance. So in totality, last year, we had a $17.7 million budget. For 25-26, we're looking at a $16.8 million. I did say factors may change due to major capital expenditures, which is the prosecutor I got a budget for, as well as this forensic audit. Any questions? Council members, I did budget your $2,000 allocation. I just want to let y'all know that I did,
Do we have any questions on this allocation for council members at the moment? No questions.
Well, well, we'll discuss that.
Okay, okay. Okay. I do have copies of the rate schedule. I think, thank you to LaToya for passing that out. I appreciate you. So that's everything that I'm projecting out there. And comments, questions, concerns, angry comments, funny comments?
Okay, I guess you talk about the elephant in the room, but just a comment, because I think if you don't know, you just don't know. But going back to the facility, the penny tax money was allocated by Florence County, $3.5 million, and it was for recreation upgrades. That's what it was supposed to have been for. In the beginning, we talked about cutting the trees down at Blandon Street Park, starting a facility at Blandon Street, which would have included a gymnasium, multi-purpose building for whatever. And we even talked about how we could generate revenue through AAU basketball, partnering with them, the recreation programs, summer camps, et cetera, and use that same facility as a rental facility. If you look in Williamsburg County, that communication center there, it's a communication center, it's a gymnasium, and they rent it for all kind of balls and all of this was what was supposed to have taken place with recreation upgrades with that $3.5 million starting. If we had started with the $3.5 million, Bruce and Lee Foundation would have assisted us with putting a recreation facility on Blandon Street property, because the Floyd, Dr. Eddie Floyd, donated all that property to the city of Lake City, plus the last 50 acres when Mayor Alford, former Mayor Alford, was the mayor. So that was the plan. Representative Kirby donated $250,000 additional dollars for this. So we were working towards $4 million to begin. And hopefully, you know, Bruce and Lee Foundation, they got plenty of money. Hopefully, if we had started, I know within my heart that Dr. Floyd would not have let us build a chicken coop there and put his mother's name on it. So we missed the goods when it was, we missed the getting when it was good. So we missed that. So we end up here. And then it was supposed to have been a gymnasium back here attached. A Band-Aid was supposed to be put on this. And then, right. So we went other ways with that. And then all of a sudden I was no longer invited to the meeting. But the rest is history.
Right.
But here we are. But I just wanted to clear the air, because I heard statements about the building. This wasn't supposed to happen in the beginning.
That's right.
If you go back to council meetings, I stood up in council 3 times. And when I got to the point where Ms. Snowden said, this is where we're going, I said, well, a drowning man will reach out a straw. Am I correct? I said, a drowning man. You said you didn't want it to take place, Councilmember Crosby, Alford, LaRue. There was a lot of people said no. But here we are. So we have made some huge mistakes when it came to recreation. And right now, we are trying to work positively towards correcting some of those mistakes. But I'm willing to do whatever I can to help, to work with whomever to make things possible. But you cannot take a building that you build for parties and receptions and weddings and a wedding room and all this stuff and put kids in there and expect them to play volleyball, basketball, have tournaments, and charge to get in here to play sports, because it's just not possible for some things to take place under this, in this facility.
And thank you for that. And to Savon Whitehead's point, you know, we have something of ours.
Okay.
And that's why I have certain reservations of selling it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Millette, for bringing it out. During that time, this location, in my opinion, for a rec center, did not lend itself to, because it's so far out, did not lend itself to, it needed to be more centralized. And that was my reason for it, because I promise you, if I had minor children right now, if this was a rec facility, I would not allow my children to come out here unless I can stay here all the time. Now, if it's downtown, I would still monitor my children very closely, because given the way society is now, I just wouldn't, I'm not comfortable with children coming out here. And a lot of children would probably have to walk out here. That's not safe. Whereas a lot of parents will allow their children to walk. We, as a community, I think would have to go back to the village to help these children, okay? Because there is no way, if I came out here, if this was a rec complex, if I came out here and I saw a child walking, I probably would pick that child up and carry that child home. Because we don't know what kind of predators are out here. And in this area, because it's so remote, it doesn't lend itself. You know, I felt that way then, and I still feel that way. And it was nothing personal, you know, against you. I'm just more concerned about the small children. And we know that we have families, parents, who just send the children out. Just get out of the house, get out of the house, get out. They don't care what
That was my
happens to
parents.
these children.
That was
So I mean, that was my sentiment then. That's still my sentiment.
Go ahead, Brian.
And I can go back on what Ms. Cynthia was saying, when it came down to the Landing Street field over there, when we did the transfer from Lions Park to over there. That over there still wasn't built, correct? Right, Ms. Cynthia?
Right.
We was supposed to have a big press box, all kind of stuff was supposed to be there. Some of the fields out there ain't even done. You know, later on down the road, you come to us and you ask, we're gonna put a half a football field down there. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that wasn't done correctly.
And that's why it's all big a
It's hard to
team.
come behind and clean up
Yeah.
what's already been done
Right.
and messed up. And people don't take the time to actually hear what the citizens are asking for and go with what the citizens are asking.
I wholeheartedly
Instead of
agree.
just go and doing what they think is best.
I wholeheartedly agree, and that's why everything's like I'm still learning. You know, I'm a man enough to admit that I'm still learning. I'm fairly new to government. I've been here 2 years. All right, so you know that's why I keep lamenting that this is a team conversation. Like this building predates me. You know, I started 2 years ago. So
And it's
go-
nothing against
go
the
ahead.
building here, but it goes back to what we doing now to put another workload on someone else. If we rent the building out now, as it is, rent it out. Just let it go. But Ms. Cynthia and Ms. Izar do a fine job with what they do. Don't add another workload to them. Let them continue scribing in the goal they need to go to and reach higher heights. That's how I look at it. If Miss Cynthia want to come out here and still use the building for kids, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Right.
But let's keep something going. We can't
Right.
just throw the towel in, you know, and say, oh, it ain't gonna work. We got to see it from all different angles.
Right, and I agree, I agree. Go ahead, Luke.
Just, you know, I preach transparency, especially to my council members. And I'm sure I've told some of you this already, but we held a meeting probably, 2 months ago in the conference room. You know, we set it up where Grayson, Cynthia came in there, sat down with me, Mayor, I think Marsha at the time.
Marsha, yeah.
And we spoke, you know, do we want to keep pursuing a rec center down here at Cole Road? And the general thought after leaving that meeting was, we as a city staff want to shift it back to Blanding Street, and it just somehow or another, it's, you know, through all the things that have transpired, it hasn't gotten on the agenda to see if council agrees with that movement. But if council does agree with that movement, we need to go ahead and, you know, get that on paper, get it on the agenda for a council meeting, make it official, so that way we can start going ahead. You know, and what I do, you know, land development's a big thing. We have 30 acres of pine trees at the back of that property just sitting there. That's a cash cow sitting right there. We could go ahead, get at least some of those cleared with approval of mayor and council, put that into a rec center fund of some sort, and you know, that you got the ball rolling at that point. I mean, but we need to, I think, from hearing from, you know, council members, staff members, and even members of the community, we need to go ahead and get the ball rolling on that project.
Right.
You know what the recreation, like you were saying, I get many calls when I know what happened to with Cynthia recreation for the summer, where the city have available for summer camps anymore for the children. And that's one of the lack of, like, there's nothing in the summer for the children to do. There's no water, and you know children like water. There's no recreation where they can play it's too hot to play on the outside, so there's no gym. And when we made a decision about this building, there was gonna be a gym here. And like you see, it's all went through, and then now there's no gym nowhere for the city of Lake City to have recreation and stuff like that. So that one thing we definitely need to reconsider. Where did we go from here? How did we start over? We can't continue bragging about what happened, and I didn't vote for it, and I whatever. You know, we all make mistakes.
Right.
So where did we move forward?
Yeah.
To see the city move forward. That's
and
my
we can
thing.
move forward together.
Yes.
When the change was made, as a council member, I was not aware of it. I asked a question one night at a council meeting, I said, when did all this change? And when William Askins was on council, he replied a few months ago. I'm going,
I want to,
not aware of it, not aware of it.
you know, everything that's been said, definitely, you know, especially starting off with Miss Cynthia. I wasn't on council in the beginning when it all started out. I think right before I came in, it all started out with the community meeting, the surveys, and so forth, asking the community what they wanted. This was when Councilman Jason Springs, came in, which they would do once again, which they do all the time, about what the community assessment, what the community wants, and from the penny sales tax. And when that started, it was stated recreational upgrades. We have the paperwork to go back to see what is stated on the referendum during that election time for people to vote on. Of course, that was a long referendum, but that was on the part for Lake City. And it was two other projects as well, I think Martha Law and something else. But anyway, I think the ball was dropped when the different administrations was handling it. Because, of course, we had two administrators since all of that was happening and occurred and started until where we at now. And I want to say, in my opinion, that a lot of people that were supposed to be at the table were not at the table, per se, Miss Cynthia and Recreation Department and others, when those decisions were being made. The verbiage, to my knowledge, the verbiage was changed from city council approval to sending it back to county and then back to us. I think the verbiage was changed, and I think that's how the plans got changed as well. The key people were not at the table that was supposed to be at the table. The saying if things need to be come down here or Blandon Street. Please, if anyone wants to correct me at this time, please correct me. Because I mean, okay, because I'm not perfect at all. I'm just trying to recollect my knowledge and my thoughts back on how this was handled. And like Councilwoman Scott stated, we can go back and continue to go back, but at this moment we got to move forward. We see what we have. We're blessed what we have. A lot of municipalities don't even have half of the things Lake City have. So what we need to do is try to work with what we have, improve what we have, and continue to move forward. I want to see Blandon Street improve and build up like it's supposed to be. We dropped the ball many times with Blandon Street, but now it's time to pick up Blandon Street. This building here, we have it. We need to see what we can do for it to not to be in the hole, because this is something we still have for the community, for whomever wants to come out here safely and come out here and still utilize it.
Well, I'm gonna say this, that was all in William Hall's administration, and, you know, apparently he was allowed to make decisions, unilateral decisions without council and, community, different people involved. So yes, I'm gonna point the finger, that's when it happened, under William Hall's administration. And, because so many things came out, so many things happened that should not have happened. And I think all we know what, I'm referring to.
But we all moving together, you know. We're moving together. You know, I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I told Mayor Robertson the other day, this is my first time putting together a budget for a municipality. So, you know, we all moving together. You know, we all learn together. You know, but we all one big team.
Well, I
Thank you.
I appreciate it. A lot of pressure has been put on your shoulders, on a lot of people's shoulders, since the last administration changed, and we're doing what we can do.
That's all we can do.
It's not an easy job, believe me.
No, I stay up all night. Right. Any questions from anybody?
Together we can. That's all I got to say.
And together we will.
Henry Ford once said, as long as we move together in unison, success take care of itself.
Okay, so how are we going to, rectify, make up the $2.4 million?
2.4.
With the
Oh, you.
deficit, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Councilwoman, that's gonna take a while. I mean, that's why I'm doing cash flows and ideas, and when your new interim come, you know, hopefully this person comes with, you know, experience, ideas, and whatever case may be, and I'll be working closely with this individual, and hopefully I can learn from this individual, because I admit, I do have lots of things to learn. You know, I'm man enough to admit that. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm not a know-it-all. I'm still learning as much as I go. Yeah, you got that right. Yeah. So I'll be working closely with this person, bring some donuts, coffee, I'm locking that door, we're gonna dig up some ideas.
Let's see somebody kick you out.
Unless he kicks me out, yeah, unless he kicks, unless he kicks me out.
I want to ask do any other department heads have any questions or concerns? I know Ms. Cynthia stated her statement. Any other department heads?
Y'all go ahead now, let me start.
Any questions from anybody?
Mr. Ricky?
Because I'm heading out. I got exams to study. Okay.
No, I'm just looking at some stuff.
Ricky, why you run these people away?
No, we've lost several because of the funding. DOT and other places that we hadn't lost any to DOT yet, but I did check with them. They're actually starting their guys off a whole lot more than we are. I met with Brandon, we requested to have a certain level of entry now for that, which is a good bit more than what some of them are making. Some of them right now maybe not need to go to that level that we're asking for, but that amount be in place on the salary for them to achieve in a year, 2 years, to try to keep them, because we lost one more this week. It was Dwayne Conyers. He was a great asset to the city. He was actually operator. He hauled our sludge. He could drive and run any piece of equipment we had. And so he's left this week. Yesterday was his last day. We've got some guys that's interested in coming to work for us, but they don't have any experience. And a lot of the CDL drivers, a lot of companies won't hire them without experience. A lot of times age is something that plays in there too. A lot of them has to be like 25 years old for a company, a reputable company, to hire them. You know, put someone out there on a $200,000 to $250,000 truck, you know, and trust them to drive it. Which we try to provide training for our guys that do come to work. I know, like with Dwayne, he came here. He already had it. He was a seasoned operator and driver and everything. So we were requesting that salary. And I know, Brandon, I appreciate you working, the mayor working with us on that. And there's some other things I know I hadn't got up with you. With a revenue stream would be out at the wastewater treatment plant. Some of these guys is bringing in the waste from septic systems. So we received that along with the city of Florence. And I know we got to be competitive because they're coming out of Florence to Lake City. So, but I think we have some margin in there to actually increase that for revenue stream.
Okay.
To be somewhat on that.
Okay.
But we appreciate whatever mayor and council reviews looking at that, so we can kind of, because we still got a couple of them still looking, and it's going to happen. If we don't hurry up and do something.
Sivon, you got a question? Latoya, somebody else have a
Quick question.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Where are we at right now with the houses? What's the update on the houses on Moore Street, and where would that money be going?
The Moore Street, those houses are completed.
No, the ones further down. No, all the way down Moore Street. So you have the ones on Carver and Moore, then you have like 2 or 3 more down.
I'm not familiar with that one. Right? All those houses are sold, right? No.
They're still under construction.
Okay, yeah, I gotta get back with you. I'm not, I think they're still in construction. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
So the monies for the ones on Carver Street, we do have those monies, right?
You talk about the water?
The 3 houses on Carver.
The 3 houses, yes. Yeah, we sit in our South State account.
How much we have?
That's gonna be a conversation we got to have offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because those houses really were supposed to start at 90,000, and then they went up to 140, 130, 140.
And Luke, correct me if I'm wrong, I think when it comes to these prices, they typically go by the cost of the material. And Luke will have to correct me if am I right?
Yes, inflation has taken its toll post-COVID.
Yeah.
So the cost of construction, the cost of, your materials has gone up.
Right.
So we would be taking a major loss to not sell them. We're selling them pretty much at cost. We're not making any money off of it. So it's just to sell it to break even.
Right.
Okay. So are they all selling at the same price, asking price?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
And a lot of these decisions did originate pre-COVID. As we can tell, the conversations we're having, when we're going back thinking, even with this building and Main Street, a lot of that happened right at pre-COVID. 2019, 2020. So, and then also administration changed. And then the cost changed.
The cost of construction skyrocketed.
Right.
Even with this building, when council had the meeting, because I wasn't on council at that time, we had the meeting on the phone because we weren't meeting in person. A lot of those things transpired because of
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Luke. Savon?
Just throwing it out there for general purposes, since, you know, transparency has always been the key that we're focusing on here. As we move forward, especially with this building, a lot of things that we have to take into consideration, and I just hear this from being in other conversations, a lot of grants that we apply for funding are very technical, and I'm sure Luke can capitalize on that, that the verbiage is very important when it comes to getting funding. This building in particular, the funding we got from this building was because of specific verbiage in order to get the funds for this building.
Not
So,
right, I'm sorry, not right, because this building was from a 3.5 million penny sales tax.
Yeah.
We're talking about the multi.
You talk about something else.
Oh.
Yeah. You talk.
right.
Wait, you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My apologies. But specifically, right. But the verbiage is what's important. The verbiage is how we receive the grants, and so I just want people to understand that when it comes to trying to get the funds for whatever facility or projects, we have to be cautious of how we word our verbiage so that we are able to get said funds for it. So when we're sitting here trying to figure out what to do and how to get this, we just need to be more mindful, especially with our grant department, which their job is to acquire said grants, and we just got to be cautious of the verbiage that we use for that. And then, of course, you know, everything happens for a reason. There's always a reason for another thing, and we just have to put the time into doing one part to make sure that the other part happens. Because at the end of the day, the city as a whole is always going to come together and make it happen, because that's just what we do. We come together, we make it, make it happen. So transparency, if we're going to be moving with that for 2025, 2026, let's just always be mindful. The reason why things happen is because procedures have to happen a specific way, and our lives will be a lot easier if we just be upfront about that. But that's all I wanted to say.
All hearts and minds are clear. I feel like I'm in church here. All right.
Chief Miles, you thinking hard over there?
Yeah, on the capital request, just keep in mind, some of these vehicles that we've requested to sell with the police department, if we don't replace them, we can't sell them.
That is a good point.
Say it again now.
Some of the vehicles that we've asked to sell at either public auction or online at Gov Deals, if we don't replace those vehicles, we can't sell them, because we need them.
That's a good point. I did not even factor that in. My apologies, Chief
And
Miles.
that's why we need to bounce around the ideas of fleet lease through enterprise versus purchase, how we want to move forward with that.
No,
Because if you don't do it, put something in
That's a good
place for every few years, you're gonna have this problem consistently.
that is a really good
People
point.
that come next after us, they're gonna have this same problem.
And that's what Fleet Lease was, that enterprise, right?
Yeah, fleet lease with enterprise. And it's not, from what I've seen, it's not feasible to do a fleet lease for 2 or 3 cars. If you're gonna do a fleet lease, you need to do a citywide fleet lease. And just have police be a portion of that. That fleet lease that encompasses public works, parks and rec, everything. And just have each department have their own, what type of vehicle they need or what have you. Just do it citywide versus fleet leasing 1 or 2, because it's not cost effective to do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
That's a good point.
The more you do, the cheaper it is.
So that's
What-
what Kevin Yokel was talking to us about that.
Right.
With Florence County, how they do that with enterprise, and they just get all their vehicles through enterprise.
Yeah, and if they set you up on a replacement program, you get a new vehicle about every year, every 2 years. So you're not worried about the wear and tear, you're not worried about the maintenance costs.
And that was gonna be my follow-up question. Can we choose the vehicles? Because I know Florence County is starting to switch to SUVs, and those charges is killing me on maintenance
Yeah, I
costs.
agree. Chargers they're going away as
Mhm.
you see fewer and fewer departments go.
Right.
Suspension's just not holding up on them. Everybody's moving to pickup trucks and SUVs because they're more robust. They last longer. You don't wear them down as quick.
Okay.
And if you purchase them, the trade-in value is always higher than it is a car, a regular sedan.
Right.
Granted, the new ones we have, they're working fine. They're
Right.
working great. The ones we've asked to sell at either auction or what have you, they're gonna have to be replaced. We can't just sell them and not replace them.
Right.
Because we'll have an issue if we do that. We'll have no spares, we'll have people doubling up in cars and stuff like that.
So the goal is, once we sell it, we need to take that money and go
There's
purchase
about 5
one.
that we can sell that we don't have to replace, and those are the ones that, those are the worst of the worst. The rest of them, if we sell them, we're gonna have to replace them.
And how many is that?
I'll have to look at the sheet, give you an exact number, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. So there's 4 to 5 that's gonna have to be replaced if we sell them. And then there's 5 to 6, is the one without the engine, I'm including that one. If those can be sold at auction and not, they don't have to be replaced. Those were the older ones that were sitting there anyway and have been sitting.
Okay.
I would agree with that too, because our trucks, I mean, like I said, they looked at that years ago, and they were just into it. We taking trucks, like those Ford 250s we use, we spending tons of money in them to keep them going, and we should be rotating those trucks out at least every 3 years, 4 years.
And I think that's what
We could save on the
city of Florence do. I think they just went with all 4 probably.
Maintenance cost has shot up. We're talking about all this, the COVID increases. Maintenance cost on vehicles is one of those. And the labor cost for an ASE certified mechanic now is anywhere from $50 to $60 an hour. And that's on the low end. That's right here in Lake City. That's when you're looking at parts. Where your enterprise fleet lease encompasses all of that.
So that's a contractual agreement. I think, because that's an in-house question.
You pay a monthly bill? Yes.
Yeah.
You pay a monthly bill with enterprise fleet lease.
Yeah.
But that monthly bill covers a lot of that.
Because the last one was 3 chargers.
Well, if you have a monthly bill, you know what the bill's gonna be, and you can plan for that and budget for it. Whereas if you never know when a vehicle is gonna take a $4,000, $5,000 repair. You can budget for it, but your budget is blind.
But it should be.
You never know what's gonna
It should be insured, right? No, it should have some type of warranty while it's on that lease, correct?
Yeah, it does. And then while you're, at the end of the lease, you always have the option to buy back, like those Dodge Chargers that we leased.
Right.
3 or 4 of them that was leased by the city. It wasn't feasible to do it because they were paying like $2,600 a month for 3 cars. And at the end of the day, they wanted $16,000 a car to buy. We negotiated down and got them for, I think, right at $7,000 a car, which made it worth it. So the city went ahead and made that purchase and bought the cars. Now they're in our rotation. But the more you do, the more acceptable that monthly cost becomes, I think. And considering, I think the only thing that we can't lease would be a fire truck. And maybe you can even do those, I don't know. I think if you're gonna shoot for a fleet lease, you shoot for the stars with it and do it for the entire city.
Okay. And then, I haven't forgot about your prosecutor, Judge Washington. I haven't forgot. I promise she's on the back of my mind. Any questions? All hearts and minds are clear?
I just want to make a last comment. I appreciate everyone for being here today. We said a lot, we stated a lot. I hope there's clarity on a good bit of things. I know there's other more information that myself and Mr. Carter can provide to anyone at any time, at any given time if you need to. We are all, learning here. There's not one person in this room know it all about anything. I don't care how long you've been in a position, in a department head and so forth. We're all still learning because I don't know if there's been a time or at a time that we've been in a position that we're in now. But we can get out of this if we work together.
Right.
We all talked about transparency, but we all also need to talk about accountability as well, as far as what we do for the city of Lake City every single day. how and where we go to represent the city of Lake City in our position under our titles. So if we go out there and do what we need to do as a community member, as a mayor, as a council member, as Parks and Recreation, as Economic Development, Public Works, chiefs, whatever, we can get out of the situation that we're in. Because let me tell you, a lot of people still continue to look at the city of Lake City, and they want to be like the city of Lake City, and we have to make sure that we continue that. I love the city of Lake City, and I do everything and anything that we can. We can't go back. We can't change anything that has happened, but what we can change is the result and how we're moving forward. And I appreciate everyone in this room and all the other staff members that are not here and the community members, because this right here tells me that we are going in the right direction. We want to see Lake City grow, and we want to see Lake City thrive. As long as we keep ourselves accountable for what we do and how we represent. Council.
It hasn't been established that the community cannot ask, submit questions? Did we say they could not submit questions?
At this meeting, yes, ma'am. Because it was stated at the last meeting that they could.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I heard that or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So thank you, council members. I appreciate you all. I want to say our next council meeting is April 8th. April 8th at 6 p.m. Please do come out. Do we have anything else coming up prior to that? Yes, April 5th is our opening season for baseball and softball. April 5th at 10 a.m. at Blandon Street Park. Yes, we have a community cleanup that is planned on April 23rd, I want to say.
Just for mostly directed towards the council members, I talked to Council Member Crosby, but the job fair is at the Continuum next Thursday, so please let y'all's constituents know that, if they're looking for a job right now or if they're trying to advance in their career, please attend that. I want to see everybody do the best they can for themselves and for their families. Thank you.
Let me ask you, do you know what businesses will be there?
I do not. I could find that out for you and send it over to you probably Monday. Yes, ma'am.
Is that it? Thank you, Mr. Carter, for all the hard work you've been putting in. Thanks, everyone. If there is nothing else, we adjourn at this point. Thank you. Thank you, John.